Hi, my name is Danae Wellington. I am a happy-go-lucky young woman. I'm the Sheffield Poet laureate, um, a musician, poet, writer, all-round creative. Success looks like actually enjoying my life and living and feeling comfortable in my body. When I was much younger, success looked like having a lot of things. And don't get me wrong, it's nice. I want to have a comfortable life. We like the good life. We like the good things. But I feel like you can have a lot of material things and not like the life that you're living or not like living in your body. So success for me looks like loving and feeling good, just living my life and existing in the body that I'm in. My dream, I feel like to see my mom happy, man. More than anything, I feel like when I'm able to provide a life where she doesn't have to work, I mean, you can do the things that you want to do, but not have to survive and do the things that you don't want to do. I just want to see her happy. If she's happy and my sisters and my family is happy, that's the greatest dream that I feel like I could have, no matter what it is that I'm doing to get there. Family is important to me. Um, it always has been from Jamaica until now, because I'm from Jamaica originally. But yeah, I think the people that we're raised up with, the people that we come through biologically, it can get a bit techie sometimes, you know what I mean? So family is also the people that you choose, the people that you resonate with on a spiritual, on a soulful level. Um, so yeah, they are important to me and choosing those people that I can do life with. Do you know what? I people watch a lot. Just kind of seeing people go about their day to day and seeing, we were talking about relationships earlier for a second, but seeing people happy and seeing them share a moment, do you know what I mean? You're just kind of like a fly on the wall and seeing them, I don't know, the way a man would respond to a woman that he loves or vice versa, or just seeing people really enjoy something that they love. Things like that inspire me, man. First got into poetry in 2017. Basically, I just needed somewhere, something to express myself because I was doing music prior to that. So I was writing songs and stories. Ever since I was a little girl, always obsessed with stories and language. And then I became a musician when I was 16. Um, so writing came very naturally. But it was, yeah, 2017, after having like a mental breakdown um, and just not having an outlet anymore after not doing music for years. I just needed something and I gravitated towards poetry after going to this poetry class in town. It was at, was it? It was on Bank Street. I can't remember the guy that was running it, but he played like Miles Davis in there. I was like, okay, jazz and writing. And I wrote about tulips that day. Um, and yeah, that's how I got into poetry. Do you know what? I feel like that's interesting. I don't think I love it more than the other art forms, but I feel like with poetry, it is real. It goes right down to the language. It's not having the music as an accompaniment, but the words that can speak to the heart of a person and what it can do and how it can penetrate and how vulnerable you actually have to be with poetry. And you can do that in music, but I feel like poetry demands something else. And it speaks so clearly to the heart for me anyway, more than music can. Music does that with the actual instruments and the music, but with poetry, it's just you and your voice, and that's it. And that vulnerability about it, I think I really love that, and the connection that then people feel when they see your vulnerability and the vulnerability of the words, then being given permission to be vulnerable themselves and to show themselves as they are. Um, I don't know. I didn't really have control over the Sheffield that I experienced back then. To be honest with you, being very candid, I didn't like it. I hated it for years. I wanted to leave. But there was for me anyway, when I first got here, it reminded me a lot of Jamaica, and it felt like there was a lot more community. Like even being here in Sadaka, there was a lot more things, programs, just stuff happening in the community, and it felt more together. Whereas now, as a grown woman, I get to decide how I experience this city. So I enjoy it a hell of a lot more than I did before. But I think when it comes to the community aspect, we lost that for quite some time for politics and various different reasons. But I'm starting to see that come back. There's a resurgence of it with the young people, with various different initiatives, slam bars, people like yourself, Sile, just lots of different things happening that this new generation is starting to revive it. Aware of it now. Um, I didn't so much back in the day. I mean, you had different community centers and stuff and lots of different things going on, but I wasn't as aware of it because I didn't really take part in much of it. Um, and I know that there was a lot of culture in terms of like the Caribbean fortnight, 2 week shutdown of Sheffield when you got Carnival. Like, I'm from one end of Sheffield to the next. There was so much happening. But I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't born here, so I didn't get to experience that. So now it feels like there's almost this revival. But then this kind of new, I don't know, new greenery that's coming through that wasn't quite here before. It feels like a fresher energy that wasn't quite here before. So yeah, immediately like three things. I'd say read a lot. When I first started poetry, do you know what? Even before I first started writing poetry, just kind of going through mental health issues, I gravitated towards poets like Rumi and Khalil Gibran and Rabindranath Tagore. And these are Persian poets, these are Sufi poets. They have nothing to do with where I come from or culturally, but on a spiritual level, I really gravitated towards them for the things that I was dealing with or going through at the time. So I feel like just read a lot, read things that you're not used to, and that will open you up to worlds where you cannot physically travel to, or you may not have the means to physically travel to, but it gives you a window into worlds that would actually blow your mind or just open you up to something new. But also it'll show you the craft of poetry and how poets use their voices to shape poetry. Secondly, I'd say go to live events. Go and see other poets on stage. It's one thing to read the work; it's another thing to experience it on stage and to seeing it come alive. It's a completely different element. So yeah, go to live events, and then the third one would be just pick up your pen and write, man. Pick up your pen and write, and allow yourself to just let the pen or the pencil, whatever you're using, to keep going. It's not about being perfect. At that very moment that you start, if you've not written poetry before, it's simply just about writing and just letting what's inside of you come out. And then if there are open mics that you can go to, take the plunge and go to one. Your knees might be shaking, your fingers, everything might be shaking, but um, yeah, be bold enough to go and take that. There's going to be some element of fear, but I feel like the more that you do it, the more that kind of subsides. It kind of goes away after a little while, but you have to kind of follow that fear because that's where the excitement is as well on the other side of that. And I feel like the feeling that comes after doing it, like, yo, I actually did that. Like, I can actually do it. It's such a dope feeling. Um, so yeah, everything in the world is scary, man. But you can't stop living or can't stop yourself from doing something because of that fear. Um, I would give that advice to myself now and to 16-year-olds because I feel like when you're a lot younger, there is more. This, for me anyway, it felt like there was much more of a sense of fearlessness. I wasn't afraid of doing things. I wasn't afraid of going into places dressing the way that I want, or doing whatever, saying whatever I wanted to say. But I feel like those now at 16 years old, or teenagers or young people, if you are scared of something, like, it's natural to feel that way. But again, you can't let that stop you from going ahead and trying. Nerves is a part of it, but on the other side of that, there's the pride that you feel in yourself from actually going ahead and allowing yourself the opportunity to do that, you realize how much braver you are than you actually realize.